All right. Hi, Ini. Hello.
Hi, Ivy.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's so good to have you here today. I mean, this is like the
Thank
10th,
you.
the 10th episode of the League of Inspirational Women. And I
Yay!
think 10 is a fantastic, well, all numbers are fantastic, but 10 is like a,
Yeah,
extra.
yeah.
Yes.
1 decade.
Yes, it is. It is. Oh wow. So ladies out there, it's so good to be back, and it's also so good for you to join us as well. I mean, it feels great. And today our conversation will be centered around pursuit of purpose and self-healing. And my guest speaker is Ini Akpan, and she's going to be sharing her perspective on these, pertinent thoughts. And these are the things that are going to help us even now in our present and also in our future as well. So let me just share, her bio. You need to know a little bit about Ini. Okay, so Ini is the founder of SW Advantage Resources. It's an editing and ghostwriting and publishing firm that translates the thoughts and experience of influential Africans into transgenerational legacies. Now, it's renowned for providing top-notch editing and consulting services to her clients. Ini is highly desired by visionary authors who want their books to stand out. Many of her clients are captains of industries, religious leaders, traditional rulers, and consultants from across 4 continents and varied orientations. Now, her content writing skills are just as magnificent, and she has worked with organizations and individuals to provide captivating content for their programs and brand offerings. These organizations include Live Your Dream Africa Foundation and Daystar Christian Center, Lekki. Now, in 2017, Ini Akpan organized the first ever editing course designed to help African editors develop and profit from their skills, tagged the Business of Editing Workshop. In 2 years, she has trained over 45 editors, some of whom are veteran editors and notable publishers. She has stamped her footprint on the Nigerian literacy space in the last 4 years, serving as judge in literary competitions organized by prestigious bodies like the IMBUB, it's IMBUB, right? IMBUB African,
Mbube.
yes,
Mbube.
IMBUB African Literary Festival and Society of Petroleum Engineers. Now, she's an engaging trainer and speaker and has shared platforms with literary icons like Professor Hope Egaga, Okechukwu Ofili, and Enajite Efemwaye to promote the culture of excellence in the African publishing industry. Ini is the author of They Called Me Stupid and Become a Best-Selling Author Today. Those are the 2 books that she's authored. Yeah, so that's Ini. That's the bio she's giving me, right? So Ini, is there anything else that is not on this bio that you want to share with us? Go on.
Okay, so I mean, listening to the bio, I was like, isn't that so long?
It's your achievement.
Right, but
one of the reasons why I do this is because most times women are a bit shy about their achievements,
true,
right? And so it's such a wonderful thing to hear it being read out to you, and you're listening. You're like, yes. So you begin to affirm and accept and acknowledge that you've actually done so much, and that's why you're inspirational. Really, yes.
True. Thank you. So I am limitless in my abilities and my expressions of divinity. So there's a lot more that I have not said. However, I think that we've already said everything that needs to be said in this conversation.
Wow.
So yes, nothing else.
Fantastic. Okay. So, Ini, over the years, I have been privileged to encounter different women and men. I've worked in several organizations who have come to understand are fulfilled, hence they are unfulfilled. hence the attitude on life, towards the attitude towards life, work, and even themselves is, I could say lackluster. And I've come to understand that they have either not found their purpose, or they have found it, but they are not pursuing it. I don't know if you get it. So my question is, what would you say are the cripples that stop people from either finding their purpose or pursuing their purpose?
Okay. So now, the thing is, without thinking about it, right, without having to think too much about it,
Yeah.
I would say the very first thing is fear.
Okay.
Fear. Fear is the number one reason that we do not pursue purpose and that we do not find purpose. Purpose is not hidden. Purpose is out there for us to see. However, fear does not allow us pursue it. Fear does not allow us explore it. And how do I mean? Because someone say, oh, I'm not afraid. Yeah, but when you look at it deep down, number one, we are afraid of failing. So someone says, oh, I know I should do X, Y, Z. I know God has called me. I love to cook, right? The person may not even be that spiritual. I love to cook, and I know I should start this catering business.
Yeah.
But what if it doesn't work, right? What if this is a bad time? I'll start next year. Really, and then I'll start in 2 years. Oh, if I do this now, won't I fail? Oh, and we really don't usually tell ourselves, won't I fail? We just give excuses. We say, okay, I'll wait till. But deep down, it is fear. Now, that's fear of failing. There's a fear of succeeding. And this one, I think women, we experience it a lot. So if I put myself out there, I'm going to make a lot of money. And, if I make a lot of money, I may start attracting wrong people. Or if I make a lot of money, my husband may, I know someone said, I will not work, because I don't want my husband to take advantage of that and not work himself and not provide for the family. So, it's like I could be a lot bigger than I am. And deep down, I'm afraid that if I become that, I could, just whatever, but just that fear of succeeding. And then, and I say whatever, because for us, it's different, right? Somebody sees subconscious. I remember that in one of the courses I attended, we dealt with my money blocks. What's his name? Bankole Williams had a training on, money mindset and all that, the wealthy mind. And when we did a test, I discovered that, somehow from when I was little, I had this mindset that, oh, rich people, will get attacked, will get killed, will get this, will get that.
Yeah.
And so somehow, like, oh, I can't have too much money. I don't want to have, I want money, but, deep down, if I pursue that goal, I'll make too much money, and then they'll come and assassinate me, or they'll kidnap me, So fear of being successful, right? Then there's a fear of, what will people say? And this is big, right? This is huge. What will people say? If I sell too much, they'll say, oh, if I put my products out there, they'll say I'm selling too much. If I start a business, they'll say, oh, you want to be like that, right? If I, leave my job, what are they going to say? What will my mother say? What will my father say? What will my husband say? What will my neighbors say? What will my church people say?
There's so much voices, that we listen to.
And then fear of being wrong. Some of us would rather not try. Like, let it not be that I have tried and it failed. So let me stay at home. Let me manage myself, right? Fear of being disliked. We are seeking approval. We're seeking approval. We're like, oh, what do you think? What do you think about this idea? What do you think about that? What do you think about, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I go there? Should I, like, we're taking permission too much because we're afraid that if we go without permission, that they will not like us.
Yeah.
And so we dim our light. We are like, oh no, let me not be too bold. Let me not raise my hand in class. Let me not talk. Because I don't want people to dislike me. And then the fear of standing out, which is still, like, oh, let me not be disliked. And then for us also sometimes, because we're sensitive about our looks too, sometimes that fear of standing out is like, I don't think I'm pretty enough. So let me not show my face. Let me not do videos. Let me not talk about what I do. Let me not say anything. Let me keep quiet, because if I show myself now, they'll remember that I have a pimple on my nose, or that my ears are too big, and all that.
Yeah.
Well, these are valid, like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it sounds funny, but really they're actually very serious fears that people
yes.
actually go through. The
Mm-hmm.
mind, we have so much, we hear so much voices in our minds, and
Mm-hmm.
there's so many times that we allow those voices to control our actions, our, even our ability to actually do stuff, and become, impact lives. So
Yeah.
yes, they are actually valid, but really they are funny. Some of them are actually funny. I mean, I used to
Mm-hmm.
have that fear that, oh my gosh, my forehead is a bit too big.
Can you imagine? And I think, can you imagine? Because I don't see it,
I was seeing it every single, like, God, Ivy, your forehead is just so big. I mean, I'm the one, nobody ever saw except me. And then one day I told myself, you know what? Okay, so your forehead is too big, but there's nothing you can do about it, right? You're not going to break your head and,
Mm-hmm.
smaller, so you
Mm-hmm.
better
Mm-hmm.
live with it.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really, it's a lot, and there are so many fears. We can go on
On and
and
on.
on about the things that we are afraid of, right? And
So,
as
okay, so,
Mariam
yeah,
Williamson said,
yes.
it's, when you look at it, really, at the end of the day, why should you be afraid, right? When we say, that poem that says, the quote that says, we're afraid to shine our light. I can't remember it right now, but it says, who are you not to, shine? Who are you not to
Fine.
stand out? Who are you not to be all this and more, right? So, yeah.
Okay, so what steps do you? Because I mean, this fear is such a limiting, thought, right, of feeling.
Mhm.
And so, what steps would you advise, that we, to people could, or, advise, or steps to take to actually overcome, fear? Because fear is a destiny crippler. It just stops you from doing what you're supposed to do. So how can you overcome this fear?
So that's it's a simple question. I know the answer, but I sighed because it's a struggle that I face every day. And this morning it was a struggle that I faced too,
Wow.
right? And it's the fact that the only way to overcome that fear is to give yourself permission to just take that first step. Give yourself permission to take the first step. Somebody will say, oh, I don't know what to do. The reason I've not pursued my purpose is because, oh, I really don't know. Like, I really do not know. It is not fear. I do not know. But indeed, give yourself permission. Now that you know you do not know, give yourself permission to
Mhm.
seek knowledge, right? So no matter what it is, the very first thing that we need to do is to give ourselves permission to try. And I'll tell you, when I say I face the same struggle even today, I'll tell you how it manifests in women especially. Now,
Okay.
a lot has been said about how women are developing themselves, attending trainings, attending conferences,
Mm-hmm.
and all that. Now, do you know that one major reason a lot of women attend these conferences and trainings is fear? Not a desire for knowledge, but fear of taking action.
Wow.
So if I can only just attend that course, I will get the information I need to put out my own course. right? If I attend Ivy's class and session, she's going to give me the confidence that I need. No, okay, no, we tell ourselves that we're looking for knowledge. So she's going to give me the knowledge that I need she will tell me what to do. She will tell me what to write in my sales copy. She will tell me, what to tell my audience. She will tell me how to sell. She will tell me how to do X, Y, Z. And when I get that, then I will start selling, or I will start, pursuing my purpose or whatever it is that we're doing as women. So it is, at the end of the day, it's not to attend the next class. It's not to it's not to even see a therapist. It's not to do any of those big things. It's just to give ourselves permission to say, let me take the first step. Somehow we all know what to do. We all know what to do. There is that God nature in us that tells us the next step to take, but we keep allowing ourselves to be paralyzed by fear. So I would say give yourself permission to try. Even if you're going to fail, just take that step. Just try. Oh, I don't know how to run ads. At least run ads first. Yes,
it doesn't have to be perfect, right?
Try $1. Yeah, just do it first. When you have done it and it doesn't work, then you can come to someone to teach you and say, okay, I did this and it didn't work. Then the person can tell you what to tweak, right? Until you just give yourself permission to take the next step. Whatever that next step is, you know what it is. Give yourself permission to take that next step.
Wow, that is really awesome. Ladies, give yourself the permission. And you know what? You don't even need to wait for validation from anybody. And you also don't need to be perfect. Because I think that that is something that I really struggled with before I decided to do things that I'm doing. I wanted to be so perfect. I didn't want to be judged or to be laughed at, so I wanted to be perfect. I would pass my, things I wanted to do round for validation. Or is this okay? Before, if you're passing things around to people, they will take their time and look at it with their own eye. Of course, so of course, some things never ever, took off. They just kept on taxing on the wrong way. So I have, I'm learning, I'm still learning. And I think it's so important for us to give ourselves permission, which is what you've just said now. And it's really, really important.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you for that, Ini. Yes. So okay, so now my next question is also linked to the fear in a way, right? But it manifests into our future, even in our present and our future. So we have gone through different things in our lives, right? And it manifests, and let's just say we are hurt. Okay, so let me give an example. For me, I've been through some experience in my life that was painful, and it's just weaved into the seams of my life, even as I speak today. Now I let it get me down, and of course fear took over. So there's something I couldn't do. But then I think I learned quite early that pain is a limiting emotion, and intentionally I set myself on a self-healing journey. Because when you find yourself going into depression and all, it stops you from doing what you want to do. But there are lots of women out there. So in my journey, of self-healing and also helping other women, I've actually met a lot of women, who are holding on to pain. So instead of choosing to heal, they would rather hold on to the pain. And I believe that this singular decision affects their growth in different areas of their lives. So I just want to ask you, why do you think some of these women prefer to hold on to their pain instead of embracing healing?
So I'll share a story. I was admitted in the hospital about 2 months ago, March.
Wow.
And I was in the hospital for a week. Right now, when I got to the hospital, I was in severe pain. So it was bad. Now, I stayed in the hospital for about a week, and by day 5, the pain had started receding enough for me to, sit up for extended periods, to talk, right? I was able to talk. And then at some point, I think by day 6, I had started bending over. I couldn't, bend before, but I started bending. And I'm like, okay, yeah, so I'm healing. And I got excited, like, yay, we'll soon be out of here.
Yeah.
But by, and let's say the later part of this, okay, let's say day 7, right? I began to feel some reluctance, like, like maybe one more day. Let me stay one more day in the hospital. And then something else happened around that time. By day 5, by day 4, day 5, they started, it was a general ward in a teaching hospital. So they had started discharging some of the other patients. Okay, yeah, this was day 6. By day 5, day 6, they had started discharging other patients. So at first there was that excitement. You know how it is where at some point a patient died, and then there was just that downer in the ward, like, and then everybody's really conscious, like, I'm not going to die here. And by day 6, they had started discharging patients around me. So that excitement came in. We're excited, like, oh, it means we'll soon leave and all that. But by day 7, I started to feel some reluctance. I wanted to stay one more day. So the pain had greatly reduced. I could now stay. The drugs had started working, because at first, even with the medication, I would still be in so much pain. So literally, let's just say I was good to go. But by day 7, I was like, my doctor came to see me, and somehow, even though I had been excited the day before that maybe they will soon release me, I kept thinking maybe one more day, one more day. What happened? I was discharged day 7, but I had to, and this is why I'm telling this story. I had to ask myself, why don't you want to go home? Because it's not comfortable. I couldn't use the toilet. I couldn't, it wasn't comfortable. My family had to come all the way every day. My sister had to stay with me throughout. So it wasn't comfortable. Mosquitoes, and all that. It was just not comfortable. It's not like the bed was comfortable. Nothing. It wasn't comfortable. But why did I not want to go home? So I had to ask myself that question. And I had admitted to myself that it's the fact that I'm not sure what I'm going home to. As long as I'm in the hospital, I'll be getting care. The nurses, it's their responsibility to ensure that I take my drugs. My family, they're in the hospital. They took really good care of me, right? So there will be food. Everything I need will be at my beck and call. I wouldn't have to do anything. All I have to do is lie down, wake up, and eat and take my drugs and, go back to bed and all that. So it was comfortable, right? I was afraid of home. I was afraid that if I leave, will I get care? If I leave, will I get worse? Will I get worse? And not that, I thought I was going to get worse per se, but worse in terms of, will I get this level of care? Really, like, not just food, but will I be allowed to sleep? Will I be given, will I be allowed to take my drugs? There was that fear of being in pain. They might say, oh, you're already home, so you don't need so many drugs anymore. So just that fear. And so when I admitted that fear to myself, when we were like, okay, so are you ready to be discharged? I said, yes, I am. But I had to, speak with my mom, and like, I hope that, you allow me. Okay, I can't remember having the way, but I put it subtly that I hope I would still, get these drugs and all that, that I'll be fine. And, at the end of the day, when I came home, my fears were unfounded, really. I got even more care at home than I got, because now everybody was comfortable, so I could sleep better on a better bed. Every other person could sleep well. It was home. I could do other things for myself. And yes, I still got, the drugs were still available, but I recovered a lot faster at home than I would have done in the hospital. So I'm sharing this story because that for me is a valid experience I had, or an experience I had that I can relate with this. As long as you are in pain, as long as you cuddle your wound, you don't give yourself permission to heal. So it's like saying, I don't want to take responsibility. If I agree that this is a problem, then I would have to take responsibility for it. But because I do not want to take responsibility, I am going to hold on to my pain. So I'm going to hold on to that heartbreak, because as long as I keep blaming him, then society would pity me. And then when they see that I'm not married, they would say, oh, it's because he broke her heart 10 years ago. It's because her husband left her 15 years ago. That's why her life is like this. Or because her husband died 5 years ago. That's why, or because she's crippled. That is why, it's because. So as long as we hold on to the pain, we will not have to take responsibility for our lives. It's the same thing with people we see who are beggars, right? You see somebody who is seemingly able-bodied, but maybe has one arm, there's something wrong with one arm, and the person is begging, right? You see another person who has no arms, and the person is doing something with their lives, right? Is creating sources of income, even for other people. We have seen videos of people like this. And the difference between both people is that one person thinks, I am disadvantaged. I need to show you that I am disadvantaged so that you can keep giving me, whatever, so that I don't have to go out to work. Can't you see that I am crippled? You have to take care of me. I am crippled. You have to take care of me. But there's the other person that says, okay, I am crippled, but how can I move on beyond this being crippled? How can I make something out of my life? How can I? So really, it depends on what they're seeing. I don't think that I wake up in the morning thinking, oh, how can I make something out of my life? I think it's more of, I already have this thing that I want to do, that chases me, that that I'm passionate about, and this is my assignment. This thing that I am doing, writing, editing, is my assignment. Publishing is my assignment. So I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking, what can we do better today? How can I make more impact today? And I think that that's the same thing that these people see, that causes them to shed off the fact that they are crippled and chase that thing. That's the thing that makes you that's the thing that makes you hear no, and you keep aiming for a yes, right? So they tell you no, you try again. They tell you no, you try again. They tell you no, you try again, because there is just that passion that purpose that you're chasing, that literally just keeps you awake, causes you to get out of bed in the morning.
I mean, it's so interesting what you shared. So, I mean, I hear, and I'm hearing it and I'm saying, yes, I think that people just, that pain becomes a comfort zone. And, people people don't want to leave the comfort zone because they don't know what they would experience if they were out of that comfort zone. And so they hold on to the pain from the past. I mean, like you shared, even pain, from being ill and being in the hospital, and I mean, it's such a very, very strong negative thought as well, which just takes control of your entire being. So my next question would be, I mean, for women who...
So let me just add, I would like to add that, you see, it's a valid fear.
Yes.
Valid in the sense that, for example, I didn't want to have to fall sick again. So my fear wasn't that, oh, if I go home, I won't get care and I won't be pampered. No, it wasn't that. It was, I won't get care and I will fall sick again. So because I do not want to fall sick again, I want to ensure that I am, let me use the word pampered until I bloom until my health returns in full bloom. But guess what? As long as you're in that place, you will not be fully healed.
Exactly.
Because you are surrounded by sick people. You are put in a position of incapacitation. You are, you're not even given the freedom to do the things that you would want to do, because it's crippling. Really, it's crippling.
It,
Yeah.
yeah, it is crippling, yes. Because I'm liking now to when a woman has been hurt, by a man before, or several times, and so they would now hold on to that pain. And what happens is they're saying, okay, I don't want to get hurt anymore, so let me just hold on to the pain. So they don't allow themselves to be loved or to love again. So there's
Mm-hmm.
as I see it as putting yourself in a prison. So you put yourself in a prison of hurt, so that you don't
Mm-hmm.
even experience that freedom to love and to live again. That's the way I'm seeing it as well, and I'm
Yeah.
likening it to what you're saying. So it's a
You're
choice.
right. You're right.
It's a
You're
choice that
right.
they have made. So they've made that choice to stay in that prison because they don't want to be free,
Mm-hmm.
to live, like not just love, but to live again, So and it's valid, right? Because not everybody knows the capacity that their heart can take again if they get hurt. But then what I like
Yeah.
to say too is that if you what you focus on, right, is where your energy flows.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was said by Tony Robbins, yes. So if you are
Yeah.
focusing your energy so much on your on negative and saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to be hurt again, so I don't want to try out life anymore. That's exactly what you're going to attract. You're going to attract
Mm-hmm.
probably the same kind of
Correct.
people, yes, that
Yeah.
will hurt you, same kind of friends that will hurt you just because you
Yes.
are focusing
You're
on the
focusing
negative.
on the hurt.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you tell yourself, okay, yes, I've been there, I've experienced negative, hurt and everything, and I'm going forward now, and I'm only going to attract goodness, all that self-affirmation. Then what happens that you begin to attract the right kind of, people, to you, so that's what I think about this as well. And because
And you are right.
I know there are a lot of women who are not taking that step because they're holding on to the pain. And aside from that,
Mm-hmm.
they're unable to grow from the level they are to the next level, or they're unable to perform excellently at work because, something reminds them of the pain and then they get crippled again. They're unable to
Mm-hmm.
take their businesses to the next level just because of pain. So my next question to you would be, what are the steps, that, a woman can take to begin the healing process? What's your perspective on that?
I think the first step is acknowledgement. You can't heal something that you do not know, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
someone who, I mean, at the time we're recording this, we are dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of insistence on getting tested
Mm-hmm.
because you can't treat a disease that you are unaware of,
Mm-hmm.
right? Someone may be exposed and may or may not be having symptoms.
Yeah.
If the person gets tested, then the person can start. But if the person doesn't get tested, and let's say the person is assuming that they have malaria,
Mm-hmm.
right? They will keep treating malaria. Or maybe the person just feels, oh, I feel tired these days, right? Because exhaustion is one of the symptoms. I feel tired, really tired these days. And the person just says, okay, maybe I just need to take a little break. Or maybe I need to do this, or I need to do that, right? But they do not know that what they're dealing with is COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way they can treat the disease. So anything can happen from there on. They can, spread it to others. The symptoms can worsen because
Mm-hmm.
they are not, taking proactive steps to
Yeah.
deal with the disease itself. So, it's the same thing with emotional hurt, with emotional wounds, with psychological illness. You have to first acknowledge that you are hurting. Like I said, with my hospital experience, I had to acknowledge that I am afraid to go home.
Mm.
And so what is the next thing, right? You cannot deal with something you have not
Acknowledge.
acknowledged. I am not in a relationship because I'm afraid that if I go into another relationship, I will be hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's an acknowledgement, right? I have not started my business because I'm afraid that if I start my business, that I would fail. Or I have not, I've not adopted a child because I'm afraid that if I adopt a child, people are going to say XYZ. Right? So you have to first acknowledge that you have a wound that needs healing, because only a sick person who goes to the hospital, I mean, you have to first admit that you are sick before you even go to the hospital, before a doctor can see you. So that's the first step. Now, when you do all that, then the next thing is of course, you have to take responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
I see that what a lot of us do is, oh, I'm heartbroken, I am hurt. So like the example I gave at first, right?
Yeah.
I am not in a relationship because I'm afraid that I would be heartbroken again. Right? Now, where did that come from? Or it was because XYZ broke my heart, right? Maybe 2 years ago or whatever. Okay, so now it pushes the blame on XYZ. So Mr. X is the villain,
Yeah.
and I am the angel that was hurt. So the next
Yes.
step is to actually take responsibility. What part did I play? Someone can say, oh, I did everything right, I loved him, but did you give yourself over to be disrespected? Was it your fault that, I mean, did you see the signs and you walked in? Did you hear
Absolutely.
the bell ringing and you turned a deaf ear? Did you,
Absolutely.
when he disrespected you the first time, did you emphasize that you deserved respect, right? Or did he subtly tell you that he wasn't interested anymore and you decided to go right in, right? And I mean, it's because it's something that I've also struggled with. I started healing when I took responsibility, when I discovered, look, these guys didn't break my heart. I broke my heart. The reason I felt heartbroken was because I held on too tightly to the relationship.
Yeah.
If I had let go when there were signs that they were letting go, I wouldn't have been so hurt. I was hurt because I was trying to hold on to something that I was holding on to, a promise that hadn't been made. Right. So I'm just saying that, for example, in that case, you have to take responsibility
Responsibility.
for the
Yes.
part you
You
played.
played.
Right.
Yes, definitely. That's awesome. Ladies, you've heard it. The first two steps for healing is acknowledgement, and then you take responsibilities. I mean, there'll be more we'll share because of time. Because this is one particular, topic that I'm so passionate about, and I really want, to see women heal. But you can't heal if you are just lying to yourself. You can't. If you
Mm-hmm.
can't heal if you're in denial, you can't heal
Yeah.
if you're an ostrich who has its head
Head
in sand.
buried in
You can't. You've got to bring it out and really see what's all over, what's in the horizon, yes, to be able to heal.
Yeah.
So, Ini,
Yeah. Yeah.
gosh,
Right. Yeah.
I have something else I really need to talk to you about, right? Now it's
Okay.
this, okay. So we've been isolated in our homes for weeks, now. I mean, for now, due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And one of the advices, shared, I mean, everything is going on all over social media, people and for people to be able to cope with being in the lockdown, right? And the advice is write a book. So you go write a book, and I mean, you are an editor, of books. You're also an author. And my question to you right now is, in your experience, do you think everyone should write a book? Really? Do you think so? I mean, if no, why? If yes, why? Why? I mean, everybody writes a book.
Okay. So I would say yes and no.
Okay.
So why, right? Why yes? Yes, because writing a book is leaving a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
A book is important because that is a part of you that you leave behind.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, we used to say that, oh, you have a son, that your son is going to carry on your legacy.
You
Guess
mean,
what? Your son may not even be aware of all that you have. I mean, how many of us are able to really tell the stories of our lives.
Wow.
And
Wow.
even if you tell your son everything, your son now has to carry on your own and his own. And but what a book does is that a book leaves, you're able to take your DNA and put in a material that will last. I mean, I have seen books that were written in the 1800s,
Yeah.
in the 19th century.
Yeah.
African books, right, that were written in the 19th century, and they're still there because it's the way the world is now. It's digitalized. All this information will still be there. Shakespeare still lives. Socrates, Plato, all those people, we know them because their words were recorded. And I'm a Christian, so I usually like to use biblical examples. Imagine that, the Bible had not been written. Everybody would come up with their own theories of what happened at creation. Even with the Bible and with the, for Muslims, with the Quran and all the other religious books, you still have people coming up with their own theories of what happened at the beginning. So if you read a book, you are able to tell your own story the way you see it. Now, every other person can be a villain in your book and you're the hero because you are telling your own story, right? And, so yes, everybody should write a book. No, not everybody should write a book. And this is why. I do not think that not everybody should write a book, though. What I do think is that not everybody should write a book now.
Okay.
Now, we have talked about healing. Writing a book can be a form of healing, right? But publishing a book perhaps may not be. And I'll say this. Let's take that. We've used this example a lot in this session. Heartbreak, right?
Yeah.
So someone breaks my heart, and I decide, okay, I'm going to go write a book. And I mean, COVID-19 has broken all our hearts. All the plans we had, from the beginning of the year, COVID-19 has disrupted those plans. But again, remember I said taking responsibility, being able to acknowledge that COVID-19 didn't break my heart. I have to be the one to decide. Yeah, I have to be the one to decide whether it's going to break my heart or not. How you respond to it is how, what determines the experience you get. Now, so let's use COVID-19, right? I decided to write about my COVID-19 experience. I mean, there's this large, my entire life, let's say I live for 40 years or 50 years or 60 years. COVID-19 is just a small percentage of that, right? That writing a book out of this experience, you cannot really tell what is happening until after the experience. I don't know if it makes sense.
Yes.
Because there were a lot of people who, when the crisis started, I mean, this, there were a lot of webinars, there were a lot of courses, everybody was, even till now, yeah, like this person is hosting this person is hosting, like my Instagram is filled with live sessions. This has gone live, this is going live, this is going live, and they're all throwing out information. Guess what? We cannot even tell which one is valid until, let's go 6 months down the line and see which one is valid. So yes, writing a book is good, leaving a legacy, documenting your experiences, because this will not happen again. There are times I pick up my journals of years ago and I read and I'm like, wow, this happened. So writing a book is fantastic. Document your experiences, leave a legacy. We all know about the Holocaust because people documented those things, right? We have the diary of Anne Frank that tells us her experience, the experience of that young girl in, the Holocaust. And so we have all that. So it is good to write a book, but do not yet publish, especially if what you're writing about is time bound, is about what is happening now. Let the crisis end. Let us see what happens. Then you can verify your hypothesis. But should you write a book on other subjects? Of course, why not?
Fantastic. I really like this perspective. I have even gleaned a little bit from what you just said now. Yes, because it's
Yeah.
stuff that has actually gone, I mean, like, should everybody write? But the way you've put it has made it so, I mean, so sensible. You've talked and you've actually made it very clear. So everyone who's writing or who should write a book or should actually know where they fall in. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's what you're writing, is it relevant for now, or would it be much more powerful in the future after you have actually, played after the whole thing is played out? And
Yeah.
I mean, so even as we write, we should think as well, about what we're
Mm-hmm.
writing and why we're writing. Because I mean, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, your writing is to to leave a legacy, right? But then that
Yeah.
legacy needs to have an impact into the readers, that would, come
Yeah.
across your book.
Yeah.
So my question on
Yeah.
that now is, so people who started writing when the COVID, when the lockdown started, or when the
Mm-hmm.
lockdown was instituted, now we find ourselves with the relaxed lockdown, okay? And that intensity that you may have had when you were, experiencing the lockdown would have waned a little because you're now getting up, you're going out, and all that. How do you
Mm-hmm.
think people can, maintain that writing momentum? Because distractions that would now come in, and it's easy to lose focus. So
Mm-hmm.
as someone who's just writing for the first time, how would you maintain momentum? So you can complete your book, really.
Okay. So I'll say two things, right? Because there are different kinds of people, but I think that we belong to two major groups in this respect. There
Okay.
are those who are self-motivated, who
Mm-hmm.
can place themselves on a routine and follow through.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what you can do is place yourself on a routine. Now, I
Okay.
usually tell writers in my classes that know your time, know your most productive time. If you're a
Mm-hmm.
morning person, for example, there are people who love to wake up at 3, at 4, at 5. That is not me. I can do it if I have to, but it is not me. I would rather not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're a morning person, for example, you can get up an hour earlier than you would and then pour out your thoughts. And you can go about your day. If you are an afternoon person, then you can take a break in the midst of all your activities at the peak of the time when you are most productive.
Mm-hmm.
Then pour out your thoughts. If you are a night person like me, then you
Me
can
too.
block.
I'm a night person.
Yeah, so you can take out time, reserve some energy for the night. Reserve,
Yeah.
don't just burn everything like, oh, everybody's and then self-awareness is so key. Not because everybody's running around, you just jump up and run around with them. So a morning person wakes up at 5, you wake up with that morning person, and the person is bubbling and jumping around. By 8 p.m. the person is dozing. Now you are a night person, your most productive time is from that 8-9, but you have burned out all your energy, or burned all your energy chasing after this morning person who has left you and gone to bed. So you have to have that self-awareness. Use your most productive time, block out time in your most productive time, and write. If you are
Yeah.
not a self-motivated person, if you're someone who likes to have someone push you, I have an accountability group for authors and aspiring authors where
Mm.
you stay on a routine, and we keep you accountable to ensure that you achieve your publishing goals. Yep.
Fantastic. Oh, wow. Edie, thanks so much. I mean, we've almost come to the end of this. I mean, wonderful time, but good things have to come to an end. But ladies,
Yep.
you've had it. If you started writing, during the COVID, and you feel that because of the lockdown, you're not writing anymore, and you're so distracted. You've had Ini. You need accountability partners. You can reach out to her, and she'll probably just help you, be accountable, and so that you can actually get your book out. You can finish that piece that you have started. Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
for ladies who also want who believe that they want healing, they want to self-heal, they've gone through, you can also reach out to me because I have a program, that I'm running for healing, to help women heal. That's one of the things that I really, really want to see, because pain just doesn't make you bloom. Pain just doesn't make you bloom, and you've got to bloom, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, so ladies,
Yeah.
this is what we have to share with you today. Ini, do you have any last words for our ladies out there? This is a league of inspirational women, and we love to inspire women. So what last inspiring words do you have for us?
Yeah, so I think that everything I could say is summed up in this: you are enough. You are enough. You are enough. You are beautiful enough. You are amazing enough. You are attractive enough. You are rich enough. You have everything that you need. And as I said, so I remember the widow, the prophet's widow, who went to Elisha and said, my husband, the prophet, is dead. They want my children. I have nothing.
Nothing.
And it turned out that she had enough.
Enough.
She had enough to solve the problem. She had that jar of oil to solve the problem. So no matter where you are, it may be, oh, I don't have anything in my account. I don't have this. I don't have that. Guess what? What you have is
Is
enough. So
enough.
you are enough.
Wow. I am enough. You are enough. Ladies, each and every one of you out there is enough to do what it is you want
Yeah.
to do and achieve
Yeah.
purpose. Gosh,
Yeah.
Ini, thank you so much. This has been a really amazing
Thank you.
session. I've enjoyed it, and
Thank you,
I'm
Ivy.
looking forward to some more. I'm really enjoying what I'm doing, right? And
Yeah.
thank you so much. And enjoy the rest of your day, and hope to have you on this show again. Most definitely.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad. I'm thankful for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
And thank
so
you,
much.
ladies, for
Thank you,
watching to the
ladies.
end.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Okay, so bye.
Bye.